You're such an asshole.
Late night Cappy. Then Cappy's going to get a cigar. Hi, Aaron. Long-time listener. I would like a video request, please. I've noticed a pattern that have seen play out with a lot of the South Asian community amongst men who grew up with no masculine role models. The clips of Akash Singh and his wife have been circulating for a while now. What stood out to me wasn't the gossip, but how quickly Myron Gaines picked up on the dynamic. Myron, he is underrated, underestimated, I should say. Only this guy with his show, and it's like, no, guy is sharp, man. He's got an eagle eye, knows what he's doing. Myron Gaines picked up on the dynamic during his appearance on the Flagrant podcast 3 years ago, a show run by Andrew Schultz and Akash Singh. He was able to recognize that Akash is an overly accommodating, nice guy who placates to women. Well, are they pudgy? I don't know. If I look him up, does he look like skinny fat? Right? This dynamic is often seen in men who grew up in collectivist cultures or minorities in the West. And here's why I have to disagree with you. Because I asked you the question and you explained to me what was happening because you happen to be of South Asian origin. I honestly don't think it might be a different variety or strain going through the prism of culture, but it's the same thing here in the West. And I got it. I think I got it pegged down. I think I got diagnosed. It's not necessarily anything to do with Bangladeshi or Indian or Pakistani culture. I think all of us are being lied to, basically at the end of the day. Personally, I used to be the passive, agreeable, and self-sacrificing type, as I wasn't confident or sexually desirable as a teenager or younger man. Therefore, I seem to internalize the fact that being endlessly accommodating is what makes me good and a sexually desirable man. But this only led to me being seen as a doormat. Not only being seen, you were probably taken advantage of. Like many young men, this led to me finding the red pill, but this just left me feeling more disconnected. Over time, I've come to realize that healthy masculinity is about presence, setting healthy boundaries, and find a partner who values you for who you are, doesn't see you as a doormat. I'd love to hear your take on why men like Akash, who are raised to be placid, nice guys, end up in toxic relationships, and how a lack of masculine role models and cultural conditioning sets them up for failure long before they even start dating. This isn't about smashing or shaming Akash. It's about recognizing that when men lack confidence and dating experience, they will often fail to recognize red flags or intersexual damage. Well, that's true. If you don't go out there and play the game, you're not gonna pick up when the guy's gonna try and steal second base. Yeah, experience will. You're definitely worse off not having experience. That he's more socially calibrated man would pick up on instantly. I know many others have already discussed this, but I'd love to hear what you have to say. So I was curious, and I said, I have to ask, since I don't know, do Indian, Bangladeshi, Pakistani, Sri, etc. cultures have it where the women are in charge / a matriarchy? I only asked that because you see, like some of the laws coming out of India, like, oh, if you don't marry her, we can throw you in jail. I'm like, what? What's going on over there? I know the U.S. is this pacified raising of boys was largely due to money, careers, divorce, and absent fathers, but it wasn't cultural as much as it was economic. In Southern Asian cultures, do women rule the roost, or was it a recent trend where this soft boy trend occurred? And he responded, Aaron, thanks for promptly reply. In regards to your question, I would say that many South Asian cultures are actually patriarchal, but for some reason, many young men in South Asian or collectivist cultures tend to worship their living mothers, which makes for a weird dynamic because these cultures haven't bought into the feminist propaganda in the same way the West has. Another reason for this dynamic is boys and young men in these cultures are often encouraged to focus solely on their careers and education for much of their teens and early 20s. Boy, that's true. I know it's South Korea. Well, it's East Asia, but South Korea, that is true. Interacting with the opposite sex is often seen as taboo and forbidden. Therefore, many South Asians have limited to no interaction with women prior to marriage, which leads to issues as described in this request. Well, that is specific to South Asian culture then, because in the U.S. and the West, like, yeah, you could start dating at about 13. I mean, as much as one can date in middle school. So if you guys are kind of forced to and taboo or shamed for talking to girls in your 20s, yeah, that's like not playing baseball and then wondering, why do I suck at baseball? Or you haven't played it. So I guess to South Asians, if you went to a Western nation or any other kind of culture where dating was allowed, say, starting at 14, 15, 16, it would look like they have an advantage. They just have more experience. Personally, I've shied away from this, and as I have dated in my early 20s and regularly interact with women, so I could spot many of the issues that Akash didn't seem to pick up on. Right, because he didn't. If you don't do jujitsu, you're going to get the shit kicked out of you first couple times. Please see attached. Blah blah blah. Okay, so aside from the, let me pull up my notes. Aside from the culture shaming or eschewing or frowning upon men and women dating younger, outside of that cultural phenomenon, which explains some of it, I don't think it really has to do anything with culture. And I think the reasons that nice guys and accommodating guys, I think which we all were, it boils down to several factors, universal, probably across the globe, that affect every single young man today. And it creates this perfect storm where we all initially think being the nice guy is good. Nobody corrects us for reasons I'm about to get here in a second. And it's not until we get the shit kicked out of us and thankfully have the internet where we can look this up, where more blunt and honest speaking people can assess and speculate. So here's then I know you got some other questions, but let's go through the reasons why I think why we're all raised to be nice guys. And it really isn't an individual culture, right? First, it's logical to be nice. The video I just did before, every guy thinks this. Well, I be nice to my friends, right? I want my friends to come over and play baseball. I'll invite Timmy and Bobby and Jimmy and Frankie. Everyone had Y's at the end of their names back in the 80s. It was a great time. And you wouldn't punch your friends. I mean, unless you got in a fight, but you would generally be nice to people, or at least like inviting. So it only makes sense. It doesn't make any sense. You should treat people like shit or punch them to get them to like you. It doesn't. A lot of that's illegal. It's assault. So it just doesn't make any sense. And I think that's the main vector. Well, like logically, I like a girl. I should go over there and get her flowers. Right. And then as an older man, you're like, that is the cringiest fucking thing you've ever done. And you feel shame for getting girls flowers 30 odd years ago when you're an idiotic teenager. I think the idea of being nice, men like it. Number two, men like it because it excuses going to the gym. The gym is a lifelong, hard labor chore that is not fun. Some guys like it. Most people don't. But generally, men don't want to go to the gym. If for any other reason, it takes time. It takes away from doing something else. So it's a great lie. When your mom said, I don't know if your mom said it, but my mom, just be yourself. Just be yourself. No, yourself sucks. You suck. I mean, you might be a great friend and great, but not for women. You need to be physically attractive. You need to be strong. You need to be in shape because that is viscerally what attracts women. And when you say, all you got to do is be nice. Whoa, thank God, because going to the gym and lifting weights up and down for hours on end, that sounds boring as hell. I be myself. I'm going to play Dragon Warrior in my boxer shorts and eat Jack's Pizza. That's myself. Some girl will love me. No, it doesn't happen that way. So in being nice, you fool men into skipping and thinking they don't have to go to the gym, which is the number one hardest thing, but the number one most important thing to do to get the girls. So all of a sudden you're not doing that. Now you got problems because the girls are not viscerally, naturally, physically attracted to you. I think men also like it because being nice is easy, meaning you said it yourself, men, you got to be masculine. You got to hold your boundaries. I don't want to argue or hold boundaries. Now you could do that by saying, I don't argue. Right. And an alpha male type of way, you get all your shit together and all of that. You don't have to argue. You don't have to set boundaries, but it's tiring. You still are under this ideal expectation. Well, I'll be nice to her and she'll be nice to me because we like each other. I mean, I know we're older now. You look at how dopey and naive, how cute, how quaint. But that's another chore. Like, all I gotta be is nice, and even that makes sense. Like, well, if I'm nice to her, she's nice to me, and then we go and we have been making babies. Them peens get touched. So, yeah, that's another thing that sells it. On this one is really hard. It took me a while. It's a fine line, but not being nice is hard. Being harsh or cold or standoffish, even at times mean, like, you don't like arguing because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. It's hard to be an asshole, but then you get old enough, you realize everyone's an asshole, and then you're like, I can't wait to be an asshole. Fuck these people. Then you become me, a misanthrope. Then girls like, oh my God, you told me no. Can I go out with you? And this gets back to the whole women are flooded with nice guys. So nice guys have no, if we take absolute value, forget good or bad behavior. Listen to me. Women would rather be told by a guy to, no, I don't want to go out with you. Or no, I can't go out with you. Or that's not a nice shirt. Like, the old school, are those your mom's pants? That kind of thing. They will take that and find that more attractive than, that's a nice sweater you got on, Sally. Why? Because every guy told her she had a nice sweater. All those simps out there on the internet, not a single one of them have gotten laid. The guy who doesn't respond to her text or whatever it is, modern day equivalent now, that is rare behavior, and they value it, even if it is harsh, standoffish, aloof. And I hate to say it, it's sad, and you shouldn't cross this line. Don't ever become it, because that's bad. But they'll take abuse sometimes over a nice guy. They will. Sorry, it's sad. I don't endorse it at all. You should never do that. I'm just pointing out the sad fact. Some will value abuse over nice treatment simply because abuse is rare. No one's told them to shut the fuck up. What? Heck, McClintock in the abuse, he ends up spanking his wife at the end of the movie because it's basically a redo of Taming of the Shrew. But it's kind of like that. But it's hard. And matter of fact, if you watch McClintock, it's John Wayne just trying to be the nice guy and get out of her way and just say, leave me alone. Like, he doesn't want to have that. But then he's got to set boundaries. He's got to spank that ass. It's a great movie, by the way. So it's hard to not be nice. It's not in your nature unless you're sadistic. Or until you get to the point you understand human nature, like, oh, this is what it is. And then you just like, I don't want, you know why I like my little nieces and because you get to be nice to them and they love it. I give you a hug, you give me a hug. There's not this secondary subterfuge, mind game bullshit. You're just happy Uncle Aaron's here and I give you a noogie and I teach you how to give your sister a noogie and you're left-handed or right-handed, whatever. But it's hard to be not nice. Fifth, I think parents don't want to spend the energy explaining the real world dynamics of what women want. This is very prevalent in the United States. I don't know about India, Pakistan, whatever. I don't think parents want to sit down and explain to their they won't even explain to their kids the nature of economics and degrees, STEM versus the liberal arts, saving money, how to do taxes. They sure as hell don't want to sit their children down and explain, well, son, you see, women are unique creatures. So I think parents don't have the energy to explain it. 6, I think fathers themselves are afraid to explain it to the sons if they even know, which many of them don't. Many fathers don't know what women want. They just fell into it. Shit, they've been talking about this shit since the Greeks were around. Who knows what women want? And related, I think 7 we're up to now. Women don't know what they want. And your mom sure the fuck aren't going to tell you what. Look, do you know what happened? Do you know what happened? Your mom at least one point wanted your dad's dick inside her. She wanted that dick. But we can't tell little Junior that mommy wanted daddy's dick, no matter how much obvious proof there is of that by your own existence. And I don't know if it's moms, being women, want to maintain the pristine reputation of women, or perhaps just themselves. But I would also say that a lot of time women don't even know what they want, not consciously. I mean, they see it. They're like, oh my God, I just slipped on a bar of soap and things happened. But as it pertains to helping out their sons, women don't know what other young women want, especially. I mean, they do, which then leads to my final explanation. Society doesn't want to be impolite and tell young men what women want. That's how I make my money, is telling true. Society is just too fucking cowardly to speak out about. And it's not complicated. It's pretty simple. Women want an exceptionally attractive man. Based on US dating data, online dating data, looks to be the top 7%. What that would be in other cultures and countries, I don't know. But biological data, the human genome, helped Myron Gaines. Speaking of Myron, his book, Why Women Deserve Less, go read through that. We went through all the data and the statistics where you're trying to measure women's interest in men. It is fractional of men's interest in women. Fractional. But they find that guy and they will go and blow him behind the dumpster. They will do this and that and that and this, which is why it goes back to number one and number two. You want to be nice because you don't have to go to the gym. Well, you got to go to the gym, and you got to be a really good looking guy. You have got to be in really good shape. And even then, if you're like a Troy Francis, you got to ask out a lot of girls too. It's a lot of work. But society doesn't want to say, this girl wants to get ravished in the alley after the nightclub by an exceptionally attractive man. That's what she really wants. And so to, I don't know, protect the reputation, to be polite, to not be crass, no matter how critical we have to be and honest to assess and diagnose, what does and does not work. I think society is look, I'll tell you, right? Older brother, or you had it, I guess maybe in the day you had the uncle that would pull you aside, give you a cigarette, or maybe your first beer. Say, here's how women work, right? They want you to be jacked. They want to be taken like a woman or a man. Go read their filth books. I guess cow sex comes in. I guess we got to talk about the Minotaur, but 50 Shades of Grey, that kind of stuff, which presents a risk in the not behind closed doors, because even if you were a very good looking guy, if you do half the shit that these girls fantasize about in the books, you're facing jail time. So maybe for that reason, also people are like, well, this is what they really want. Put there's a 23% chance you'll be doing 5 to 10 in prison, just to let you know. And then of course there's the cultural, social backlash. If you were to ever speak candidly about what we think women want, or at least if you're a top 7% guy, which is also a sign of them. I mean, just once ladies can say, this is what we want. Yeah, you're right. We want that guy. We don't know about the other stuff. Do we bang our hairs this way? Do we not bang our hairs this? Do we wear brown shoes this year? Do we not? Is it the cold shoulder? That shit we don't know. We wait for the mother matriarch to tell us what is popular this year. But I do know I want that guy's dick, and he's 6'3", and he looks like Tom Selleck because he got 6-pack abs, and he kind of pushes me away. We do know that. You just say it, ladies, and we're not going to judge you for it. It's not like the secret ain't out either. Oh no, they're pure. They're just pure. They just go there with their pearl clutch purse and they go to church. But in the end, you have nearly all of society either, well, I don't want to say outright lying. That indicates that their purpose, they know themselves. They're misinforming young men about what women want. And because of humans' natural nature to be lazy, a lot of that, like, cool, I won't go to the gym. I'll just be myself. I'll be nice. No one corrects them, either because it's too taboo to, or they themselves don't know. Like, your old man, dude, you think my old man knows what women wants? I mean, it's great. I played poker with the guys. Like, how'd you get her? I said one word. And like, yeah, what is it? No. What are you like? No, we're not getting that. No, we're not having that car. No, we're not doing. No, we're not going out. If you don't get rid of it. One of the conditions of me dating the girl I got now is just like, you're getting rid of all your debt, you're paying it off. Well, think about it. And we are, but that's work. I didn't. What you think? I want to like, hey, you got to get rid of your debt. I mean, to me, strong, independent people, male or female, like, don't you think you should pay off your debt? Don't you think you should have a 401k? Like, why am I telling you this shit? Why am I your dad? I don't want to be your parent. I want to be the guy that fucks you in the back alley. With consent, all feminist crazy victim people out there. With consent. So that's your culture, my culture, foreign countries, doesn't matter. I think that is generally laziness, ignorance, and a fear of the taboo is why families, parents, mothers, fathers, and culture and society are not blunt and forthright with men about what women want. And we're left to wander out in the desert, figure it out first. So here I am. I'm here to tell. And ladies, by the way, this is a joke. At any point in time, you can tell us what you want in the comments section below. You guys are right. I should go do stand-up comedy. That'd be funny. Ladies and gentlemen, a woman told me what she wanted. Oh, give myself a Netflix special. So now let's go to the other questions you had. Make sure I answer them. Why men like Akash who are raised to be placid, nice guys end up in toxic relationships? I don't know if it's necessarily that they're going to end up in toxic relationships. It's that the relationships are going to not be as good or outright fail, some of which could become toxic. In other words, you misdiagnosed the medical problem. You recommended aspirin when you needed stitches. It didn't solve the problem. You got the wrong information. Some of those relationships would become toxic, but whether toxic or not, they will fail or not do as good as they could. Giving women what society says they want, and even themselves say what they want, it will drive them nuts. I was the nice guy. Every guy was the nice guy. I was just like you. I was the nice guy. I had this one girl, tried to do everything right. She claimed to have throw-up disease, fake throw-up disease, bulimia, and what else? And I was an idiot. I went and tried to get her medical help or psychological help. We called a therapist. Because, again, it's not even being the nice guy. It's like being a fellow human being. Like, we got to get you help. It was all fake. It was just for attention. It's drama. It's bullshit. I got the wrong information. It was misdiagnosed. She was just an insufferable bitch. She was just a horrible human being. It was all fake. So it will increase the chances of a toxic relationship, especially if they're a nice guy, because girls hate nice guys because you're using niceness and kindness as a substitute being an actual strong and independent guy. I think that's why she hated my guts, is because I was the nice guy. I was like, but I'm supposed to be nice. I'm supposed to be understanding. Thank God I don't have to go to the gym. Meanwhile, if you looked at her behavior, because we're never going to tell them, no, I should have told her to shut the fuck up, left her off in some park someplace. And like, if you ever, first, we're never getting married. And second, you're only a sex thing to me. That would have actually been more attractive. Although she was never going to, no chance in hell I was going to marry this girl. The sex was fun. It was a good time, at least that. But there was no way in hell I was going to marry the gal. But even though they lie or lie by omission or aren't forthright and clear with what they want, they say, oh no, we like fun, we like kind, and then you flood them with that. They hate it because the nice guy usually is avoiding being an actual real man with real responsibilities. And there's nothing women hate more than a guy that has the women at the center of their lives. They want a guy who's got his own shit going on. He's got a mission. He's got direction. He's got a career, whatever it might be. And she is second place. I hate to say it. I'm sorry. That's what they respond to. Because if it's not that way and she is the sole point and purpose, he becomes clingy. He becomes possessive. He becomes controlling. They want to play second place. And then with your spare time, you hang out with them. Tell me I'm wrong. Or do you girls want the creepy nice guy? Then your other question. So I don't think it ends up always in toxic relationships, but failed relationships. Lack of masculine role models and cultural conditioning sets them up for failure long term before they even start dating. Right. If you're pushed away from dating, you're not going to be good at it. But a lack of masculine role models, yeah, certainly. I think you're given all the wrong information as you're being brought up. Certainly, you're given the wrong male role models. These sensitive '90s guys who are, pussies and pansies, right? But no one's giving it's like a game. If I don't give you the rules for football and I say, here's a football, go play a game, you're going to suck at it, right? You're going to be you don't even know how do we score? What do I throw? Do I pass? Can I run? What do you mean touchdown? What do you mean first down? What the fuck is going on? Your instruction was be yourself and be a nice guy. Well, that doesn't get you anywhere. So I think that is, lack of masculine male role models, but go here. Cultural conditioning sets them up for failure. I would just say wrong information. It's the wrong information. That's it. No one told you the rules to the game because it's impolite to tell the rules in the game. What a fun time it is figuring out the rules to the game. Oh, I get 3 at bats, huh? The advice every parent alive today and in the past gave their modern day kids that are alive today. It's like telling your sons, by the way, it's telling your sons to play baseball by when the guy throws the ball, I guess in your case it would be cricket. Either way, here comes this ball at 100 miles an hour, and to hit it with your teeth. You just stick your teeth in there. And the score is how many teeth you can get knocked out with one pitch. Well, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. That's the equivalent of dating advice you all gave your sons. Those times are over. We have figured it out. We have rediscovered, reconstituted, refined, and polished and upgraded the old man's advice, the old sage wisdom advice for modern times. And it's never going back into the bottle. All right. Lord Scrumptious 2. Oh, link below. What do I got linked below? Do I got the book of numbers? No, I think I got Bachelor Pad Economics. There's a large chapter on dating in there because dating costs money. So does marriage. I think to this day, it's still some of the best basic 101s about dating and what women like, at least according to what our research and analysts figured out. You can find Bachelor Pad Economics on on Amazon. Lord Scrumptious, $2. Nature always reasserts itself, pendulum swinging. Yep, you cannot violate natural law. You come up with all the isms and communism and socialism and capitalism and then fatism and pro-fat and femi. You come up with all the isms you want. At the end of the day, nature don't give a fuck and you need to eat. Elon Musk's filthy jockstrap. $5. Dear Cappy, I'm 6'4" and independently wealthy thanks to my OnlyFans feed page. Should I get my MBA? Also, Dre still has not watched Die Hard. Unfriend. Look, if he wants to live a truly impoverished, uncultured life, who are we to stop him? Let him read his Japanese anime. Let him go do whatever Dre's do overseas. If he doesn't want to watch Die Hard, that's fine. It's not me who's suffering. It's Dre who's suffering. Hard unfriend. I agree. Lord Scrumptious, $2. When you stop playing the game, the rules appear. Yes. And I would even say right now, we got the rules all figured out. What we're doing now is kind of like at the end. Look, by the way, the sex war is over. Men has won because men are walking away. And they're like, nope, we're focusing on other shit. And what's happening now is we're doing like the post-war analysis. Like what happened and why did it happen? We got the rules. We figured it out. We dug it up like an archaeological dig. We found it. We got a whole, it's not a theory. It's not a working model. It's facts. We got it. We figured it out. The only issue is, what are you going to do? Force girls to go out with you? No, we ain't got time for that. We'll be here, ladies. In the meantime, for you guys, yes, you should hit the gym. You should not be fat. You should have an act. You should. Men got a lot of improvement to do too. But this nice guy bullshit, that thing is dead. The sensitive 90s share you feeling, that shit is dead. And thank God, because it never worked. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, asshole consulting. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.